Hi everyone, it's Dave and Christine Senft. It's April 2011 and as you saw in the email, lots of changes have happened to Dave and I over the last little while, and we just want to take a moment to share those with you.
I guess I'll start off and tell you a little bit about our weight loss journey. That's what we're going to talk to you about, because I think when we tell our stories, you're going to be able to relate to some portion or a lot of portions of our story. So when I was born and I was a little kid growing up, I was a normal kid, normal weight, probably until I was in maybe grade 2, 3, something like that. And I don't know what attributed to me gaining weight at those ages, but I became one of those husky kids, probably through grade 4, 5, 6, and right through junior high school. And a lot of my friends, they grew a lot taller than I did, so I just stayed short and a little bit wider than they did. And by the time I got to high school in grade 10, that was the year I really shot up. I grew about 9 to 10 inches over 12 months. And my size went like this, and so I got a lot slimmer. But that's also when I started working out, and so I started doing weights. I was doing weights with friends probably about 4 or 5 days a week, a couple hours a day, and so I stayed, quite slim and fit from grade 10, 11, 12, and right through 4 years of college. And it was just a couple years after college that Christine and I met. And we got married, and when we got married I was 195 pounds, which is probably the ideal weight for me. But what then happened over the next 21 years, you're going to find interesting, all the different things that happened and ups and downs to where I am today and what's happened, especially over the last 10 months. I think you're going to find some pretty exciting hope for you, and we're excited to share it with you.
Well, my weight loss journey really didn't begin until shortly after Dave and I were married. My family was very active, very health conscious, ate very well, healthy choices. And so I stayed pretty well the same weight. I was average all the way along through school and into college. Probably put on a few of those college pounds, as many people do, but then was able to get down to where I wanted to be for my wedding day. So that would have been just around the 120 mark, just to give you an idea where I was.
All right, well, my next step in the journey was, I'm going to talk to you about from when I was married and in 1989 up till about a year or so ago. Let me just give you a brief journey of what happened throughout that time period. I think over about our first 4 years of marriage, I probably went from 195 to 225 pounds, and at that time decided that I wanted to do something about it. And so we went to Weight Watchers, and we got involved in that. We had the weekly meetings, and we're spending the money to do that. Then, as I look back, I can't remember all the different diets I've done, but you can probably name just about anything out there. If it was in a book or if there was an idea, I was trying different things. I would try to work out, and I must be honest that working out, I actually feel really great after I go and I work out, but I found it very hard to be consistent, week after week, month after month, year after year, because I knew for myself, if I wasn't consistent in something, the weight would come back on. It was just very difficult to come up with some sort of a routine that I could do all of the time. By the time I was 35, I had gone all the way up to about 290 pounds, and we were looking for a solution, an answer, something that could help us losing weight. And that's when a book that you may remember, Body for Life, came along. A lot of people were reading that book, getting into that 12-week program. And so we took that book, and we had won a trip up into the Northwest Territories to do some fishing. I read the book during that trip, decided I wanted to commit to that, and I came home, and for 12 weeks I followed their eating program as well as the exercise program, which was a lot of exercise, but I followed it for the 12 weeks, and I lost 40 pounds. And then when the 12-week program was over, then the program is over. So then what do? Well, I kept up the exercise for a while. I was still eating okay. My metabolism had changed, and it was helping me maintain that weight for a while. But as happens to so many people, my metabolism slowly started to change again, and that weight began to come on. So then over the months, it continued to go up and up and up. Then we moved to Winnipeg, and again it was time to tackle that problem, to be ready for it mentally. At that time I had gone up to 307 pounds, and that number seems pretty huge, and it was, but it just happened slowly and gradually, and you never look at yourself the same way as other people see you. When I see photos of myself, I can't really believe that I was that big, but at 307 pounds we decided that we wanted to do something about it. We needed some accountability, and so we started to go to one of those places where you can go where you've got the accountability. You go into their office every week, and they have different kinds of foods and things that they recommend to you. So we followed their program. They didn't require you to do a lot of exercise, but it was a very specific eating program, and you could buy a bunch of their products. And so we stuck to that for a number of months, and I found myself go from 307 down to about 265 pounds. So again, I lost 40 pounds. Well, 40 pounds, that's what I lost on the Body for Life program as well. It sort of seemed to be the amount that I would lose on these programs. But again, over time, we couldn't keep up with their program and buying their food products, which were quite expensive. So then when we left the program, again, my weight started to slowly go up. And my weight went all the way up to when I hit the top weight that I was, which was in about June 2010, was 328 pounds. But I'm going to let Christine come and tell you a little about her journey, and then what we found and then put into practice that's taken us in the last 10 months from that point when I was 328 pounds to where I am today.
So Dave has shared with you some of the programs that we've done, and I'll just tell you a little about some of the feelings that I had along the way. Definitely we were always together on programs, and I really appreciate that. The whole fact of accountability and working with somebody else is very effective. Over the next seven or 8 years after we were married, there was just the odd things that we had tried. I know I had even tried some of those diet pills, and that didn't work much, or maybe for a little short time. But then really when I look back at pictures, when I really see the changes in me to where I look overweight is when I hit ages 30 to 33. And just in between when Kevin and before Shaylin was born. And of course, as a mom, very busy helping and serving the family and serving other people and not paying a whole lot of attention to myself. And of course not weighing on the scale because I knew I was going up but didn't really want to know how far. And so it was really humbling a few weeks ago when I did take a look at my journey and see how heavy I had become. And people are so gracious and love me anyways, which I'm so happy for. But for myself, I was becoming dissatisfied and just wasn't healthy, and knew that I did not look the way that God had created me to look. And so there are other issues happening as well. So I know it's very releasing to find out that weight problems are not always our fault. And we'll mention a little bit more about that in a minute. But so basically over the last 12 years, I've been on this journey, following the programs along with Dave, losing the weight and then beginning to gain and losing the weight and gaining. And I found that all the energy it took to go to the gym and work out long hours, as well as many hours spent in the kitchen, I knew that there had to be another way, and we're going to get right to that.